Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon for another session on disaster and preparedness. This afternoon, we have our special guest, Tasha Carter. Tasha Carter joined the Department of Financial Services in 2003 and previously served as the Director of the Division of Consumer Services for nearly 9 years, where she led a team of more than 100 professionals who advocated and assisted more than 300,000 insurance consumers annually. In this role, Ms. Carter tirelessly advocated for Florida's insurance consumers by engaging with the insurance industry, promoting education, and working closely with the Chief Financial Officer, Jimmy Patronis. Additionally, Ms. Carter also spearheaded the CFO's outreach initiatives to promote financial education to all Floridians. Ms. Carter currently serves as Florida's insurance consumer advocate. And as the ICA, Ms. Carter is committed to using her nearly 19 years of insurance experience to find consumer-focused policy solutions and ensure consumers' interests are represented when insurance decisions are made. Ms. Carter's professional experience includes 20 years of leadership, professional responsibility, and broad experience in regulation, consumer advocacy, education, and outreach. So right now, I'm going to present to everyone ICA Tasha Carter, and she's going to take over and start her presentation.
Good. Thank you so much, Katiana, for such a warm introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to join you today because I am so inspired and truly appreciative of the great work that you do each and every day on behalf of consumers. And so today, I am very grateful for the opportunity to share with you my role and responsibilities as Florida's insurance consumer advocate and to discuss insurance, disaster preparedness, and recovery. But before I jump into the meat of our presentation this afternoon, I would like to share an overview of my office and my role as Florida's insurance consumer advocate. I often refer to the Office of the Insurance Consumer Advocate as one of the state's best kept secrets because, unfortunately, not many consumers or organizations are even aware that my office exists. Since my appointment, I have been working diligently to raise the statewide profile and exposure of my position and the office to ensure that insurance consumers know that I am here to advocate on their behalf and to ensure their best interests are represented. The Office of the Insurance Consumer Advocate was created by the Florida Legislature in 1992. I was appointed by our state's Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Jimmy Patronis, nearly 3 years ago. And so prior to my appointment, I served as the Director of the Division of Consumer Services in the Department of Financial Services for nearly 9 years. And in that role, I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to engage with consumers daily, to assist and advocate on their behalf. And so, of course, transitioning to the Insurance Consumer Advocate's Office was really a very natural progression. As the Insurance Consumer Advocate, I wear several hats, but primarily I serve as the representative and voice for Florida's insurance consumers. I serve Floridians like you and your clients by actively engaging with consumers and working with industry stakeholders, which includes the Florida Legislature, to find consumer-focused solutions on insurance matters. My focus areas kind of cover a couple of different avenues. One, balancing Florida's insurance market to ensure that the market is valuable, competitive, accessible, and affordable. Identifying trends and improving market practices by reviewing market conduct reports, consumer complaints that are filed against insurance companies, and engaging with insurance industry stakeholders. I also represent consumers' interest in rate and form filings. And so these 3 areas have primarily been my focus since my appointment. However, I am sure many of you have become aware of the dire state of our Florida homeowners insurance market. And so I continuously work to address the issues that are impacting our homeowners insurance market and driving up insurance rates. In addition to these areas, I also focus on increasing consumer awareness and education because as an advocate myself, I believe that an educated, informed consumer can be their own best advocate. And so with that, that's just a little bit of history and background about the insurance consumer advocate position and my role. And so thank you so much for indulging me as I shared that brief overview. And hopefully it allows you to have a better understanding of my role as Florida's insurance consumer advocate. And so now for the fun part. During today's presentation, I will cover the following. We'll talk about disaster preparedness, what to expect when filing an insurance claim, roles of insurance professionals that are involved in the claims process, assignment of benefits and red flags, and I'll also share with you resources to assist with purchasing insurance, reporting insurance fraud, filing a complaint, and much more. So with July 1st being here in a couple of days, we are almost 1 month into this hurricane season. And you have probably heard a lot of information about disaster and emergency preparedness. Well, an important aspect of emergency preparedness, which is often forgotten, is financial or insurance-related preparedness. In addition to stocking up on batteries and non-perishable food items, you want to ensure that you are also financially protected and prepared for a disaster so that you can recover as quickly as possible. This information is really relevant for you and your clients to ensure that we all are financially prepared this hurricane season. And so as I present all of this important information, I am also going to test your knowledge with some knowledge questions. So pay attention and be ready. So let's jump right in. So as we all know, unfortunately, disasters are inevitable. Tropical storms and hurricanes are an inescapable part of life here in Florida. And while we can't avoid disasters altogether, there are steps that we can take to ensure that we are prepared to withstand the storm and recover as soon as possible. As the insurance consumer advocate, a way in which I am assisting with educating consumers and preparing them for a disaster is through my initiative, Plan, Prepare, Protect. Are you disaster ready? Through this initiative, I provide actionable steps to equip you for the impact a storm can have on you and your family. As we all know, with anything that we do, planning is important, and it is also the first step to being ready for a disaster. So what are some of the steps you should take as you plan for a disaster? Well, I'm glad you asked. Answers to many of the questions regarding your insurance coverage are found in your policy. And so it's very, very important to review your insurance policy. That should be your first step. In addition to reviewing your insurance policy, you also want to review the amount of your hurricane deductible as well. It's important to review your policy to make sure that you have the coverage you need to rebuild or repair after a storm. You also want to ensure that you understand your coverage, and if you have questions, you want to contact your insurance agent. By reviewing your policy, you really want to find out a couple of things. You want to, one, find out what your policy covers and what it excludes. I often tell consumers that the worst time to find out what their policy covers or doesn't cover is after they filed a claim. And so it's important to understand that. It's also important to know what your policy covers because some policies contain specific exclusions, and you want to be aware of what those exclusions are, and then have a conversation with your insurance agent to determine if you should purchase optional coverage to cover those gaps. It is important to note, while we are in hurricane season, that you cannot obtain new or additional coverage when a tropical storm or hurricane watch or warning has been issued for any area within the state of Florida. So you don't want to wait until the last minute to review your policy and make policy changes, especially during hurricane season when storms can form pretty quickly, okay? This step is not only applicable to homeowners, but renters as well. Renters should also have coverage to protect and replace their personal contents and personal belongings also. And so that brings us to our very, very first knowledge question. What is a hurricane deductible? And how much is your hurricane deductible? Please feel free to type your answers into the chat. And Katiana, if you don't mind, can you please read a few of the responses?
Will do. Don't be scared. I know there's lots of homeowners in this series, so we all should know what is a hurricane deductible and how much is our deductible.
Yeah, no one wants to take a stab at it, huh?
I guess it's the first question. They're a little scared. I guess you can tell them.
All right. Well, this is a lunch and learn. They may be focusing on eating as well.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the second most important step from an insurance perspective as you plan for a disaster is understanding your hurricane deductible. And so your hurricane deductible is the amount of money you will be responsible for if you file an insurance claim as a result of damage from a hurricane. Be sure you know how much your deductible is, because that's the amount that you're going to be responsible for. Most policies have a hurricane deductible of 2 to 5% of the home's insured value, and it can be several thousands of dollars. So you want to make sure that as you're planning for a hurricane season, that you contact your insurance agent to discuss your hurricane deductible, and there may be options that will help you lower your deductible as well. And so that can be discussed with your insurance agent also. Another important step in the planning process is to become familiar with individuals who may be involved in the claims process. During the claims process, you may encounter insurance professionals who assist in resolving your claim, such as an adjuster. And if you have difficulty resolving your claim, you may decide to enlist the assistance of other professionals as well. And so you want to be your own advocate by becoming familiar with each professional's role, their functions, and their responsibilities. As you are planning, you should also consider purchasing flood insurance. Believe it or not, most homeowners policies do not cover damage from flooding. Therefore, purchasing flood insurance will protect your home and personal property in the event your home is flooded. Just a couple of statistics that I want to share with you that really makes purchasing home flood insurance an important step in the process. According to FEMA, just 1 inch of water can cause $25,000 worth of damage to a home. 18 inches or more of water could result in required repairs to the electrical system, the heating and cooling system, doors, appliances, and cabinets. So realistically speaking, anywhere it rains, it can flood. And so determining to purchase flood insurance is another important step in the planning process. And the other thing to remember is typically after you purchase a flood insurance policy, there's usually a 30-day waiting period before a flood insurance policy goes into effect, okay? Remember, I shared with you that there are 3 phases to my disaster preparedness program: plan, prepare, and protect. Well, phase 2, prepare, outlines the steps you should take now to ensure you are prepared for a disaster later. The first step is to create a home inventory. Be sure to inventory items in your home and log important insurance contacts. Include receipts, photos, videos, purchase dates, and serial numbers to document your contents and your personal items in the event that you need to provide documentation during the claims process. A detailed list of your belongings will not only help you figure out how much insurance you may need to ensure that you are adequately prepared and protected, but it will also serve as a convenient record and make the claim filing process a lot easier. I recommend that you keep copies of the inventory and your insurance policies in a safe place, such as a waterproof or fireproof container, or save them to the cloud so that they are protected and easily accessible to you. Another important step in the protect phase is home mitigation. Home mitigation is very, very important as you prepare for a disaster because it allows you to make improvements to your home in advance in order to help mitigate some of the damages that you may experience. Just implementing some minor changes, such as installing shutters, impact-resistant windows, roof attachments, bracing your garage door, any of those things can strengthen your home and potentially decrease the amount of hurricane damage you may experience. And then another plus is by installing some of these mitigation features on your home, you may also receive windstorm mitigation discounts on your homeowner's insurance premium for these improvements as well. So it's definitely a win-win. It strengthens your home, and it also will help you to experience a reduction in your insurance premium. I am pleased to share that during the special legislative session, which took place in May, the Florida legislature reenacted the My Safe Florida Home program, which provides funds to eligible homeowners to obtain free hurricane mitigation inspections and matching grants to harden and strengthen the home in order to decrease the likelihood of damage caused by a hurricane. And so under the My Safe Florida Home program, for each dollar you spend on mitigation or hardening improvements for your home, the program provides up to $2, up to a maximum of $10,000. There are some exceptions that are going to be provided for low-income homeowners, and the legislature allocated a total of $150 million for the My Safe Florida Home program. Okay. When a storm threatens, take action to prepare your property for the potential impact. And we see this a lot when we know that a storm is imminent and your particular area is in the cone. You hear a lot of newscasters and individuals from emergency management advise you to make sure that you're taking steps that will help to secure and protect your property once the storm impacts the area. And so some steps that you should take include buying and installing the materials you need to secure your property and minimize your losses. For example, cover your windows with shutters, siding or plywood, move vehicles into the garage or a carport when possible, and move grills or patio furniture or even sporting equipment inside as well. So all of these things will help to ensure that you're further protecting your home so that none of these items become objects that are propelled through the wind and can damage your home or damage individuals. The final phase of Plan, Prepare, Protect is Protect, which provides an overview of what you can do to protect your property after a disaster and make sure you don't fall victim to disaster-related frauds and scams. So the first thing that you should do if you experience damage to your home is you want to immediately report that damage to your insurance company by filing an insurance claim. And you want to ensure that you file that claim as quickly as possible and timely, because you want to ensure that you're adhering to your insurance company's claim reporting guidelines. You also want to gather copies of your inventory, because remember, in the planning phase, we've already completed our home inventory. So you want to gather copies of that inventory and any other documentation that you have that will assist in the claims process. Providing the inventory and the other documentation will definitely assist the adjuster in assessing the value of the damaged property. Also, if necessary, you want to make emergency repairs to your property to ensure that it's safe and to reduce any additional damage from occurring. As you are making those emergency repairs, you want to make sure that before you start the repairs, that you document the property damage and that you also maintain those repairs in writing. You want to make sure that you hold on to any receipts that you've gathered in order for you to purchase the needed materials to make those emergency repairs. You also want to make sure that you document that damage with either photos or a video. Also, sometimes there may be damaged items that need to be discarded because you don't want mold to start to grow. And so if you have to discard damaged items because they pose a safety hazard, you also want to make sure that you take photos or videos of those items before you dispose of those as well. Also, if you must evacuate or leave your home due to the damage, you also want to make sure that you're taking reasonable measures to properly secure your property and valuables from theft or any vandalism. Also, keep all of your receipts for any expenses that you incur because you've had to move out of your home for a period of time. Because under your homeowner's insurance policies, those expenses may be reimbursed to you. Okay. And after the storm, as individuals are filing insurance claims and navigating and going through the claims process, there are several reasons why homeowners experience some challenges and some obstacles and some difficulties with that process. And the top 3 reasons homeowners strike out when it comes to insurance claims are insufficient documentation, lack of adequate insurance coverage, and a failure to retain proof of damage. And so taking all of the steps that I just outlined will definitely help to ensure a smoother claims process. Also, as you are going through the claims process, it's important to protect your rights as an insurance consumer by ensuring that you understand any documents that you sign, including those that are presented to you by a contractor. If you decide to work with a public adjuster, for example, or any other professionals in the claims process, you want to make sure that you are thoroughly reviewing the contract and that you have a good understanding of what services are included before you sign any contract. Okay. And so I'm going to pause there because guess what? It's time for our next knowledge question. What are the first steps you should take if you have to file an insurance claim? Now, this one is easy because I already gave you the answer. So let's see how many people were paying attention. Katiana, do we have any responses thus far?
Yes, we have one from Joanne. She said to review your policy.
Okay. Very good answer, Joanne. Any other responses?
And you guys are free to turn on your camera and your microphone to ask or to comment or to ask a question.
May you repeat the question, please?
Yes. What are the first steps you should take if you have to file an insurance claim?
Take reasonable photos and
Yes.
documentation.
Yes, great answer. Yes, you want to make emergency repairs. Before you start those emergency repairs, you want to make sure that you're taking photos of the damage so that you have proof to provide to the insurance company. And then, of course, the very first and most important step is to contact your insurance company to file a claim. So great job, and thank you for your participation. So let's now talk about steps that you have to take after filing a claim. And so once you filed a claim, it is important to know the requirements and responsibilities that the insurance companies must follow. And so I'm going to walk you through several of those responsibilities and requirements because I want to make sure that as a homeowner and a consumer, you are aware of what the insurance company is required to do. Within 14 days of reporting your claim, your insurance company must acknowledge your claim and send you a copy of the Homeowner Claims Bill of Rights, which is a document that outlines your rights and responsibilities as a claimant. Also, within 14 days of receiving a proof of loss statement, the insurance company is also required to begin the claim investigation if that investigation hasn't already commenced. Another time frame that's very important is within 45 days of receiving a proof of loss statement, an insurance company must conduct a physical inspection of your property to review the damage. However, this requirement does not apply to hurricane claims. Okay. The insurance company is also required to provide you with the name and license number of any company adjusters that are communicating with you regarding your claim. And that's important because you want to be aware of any adjusters who are communicating with you. You want to make sure that they are licensed adjusters and that they are representing your insurance company. In addition, the insurance company is also required to maintain a record or a log of each adjuster who communicates with you and provide a copy of that log to you upon request. Insurance companies are also required to notify policyholders of their right to receive any detailed report or estimate that was developed by the company's adjuster And if you request that report, the report must be provided to you within 7 days of your request or within 7 days of the completion of the report, whichever is later. Okay. So there are also some important timeframes and information related to the timely handling of insurance claims. You know, in my role as the director of the Division of Consumer Services and in my current role as Florida's Insurance Consumer Advocate, I am oftentimes engaging and speaking and communicating with consumers who are experiencing significant delays in the handling of their claims. And when your home has been damaged and you've done everything that you need to do, it's prudent and imperative that your insurance company handles that claim timely, is responsive to you, and provides you with the information that you need in order to ensure that your home can be repaired as quickly as possible. So to ensure the timely handling of claims, the legislature passed several laws that place specific requirements on insurance companies. For example, insurance companies are required to provide you with a written denial or payment of the undisputed portion of the claim within 90 days of reporting your claim. If the insurance company fails to do so, the insurance company is required to pay interest to you from the date the claim was filed. And not many consumers are familiar with that requirement. And that's why it's so important to know your rights so you can ensure that you hold the insurance company accountable. Another requirement is that the insurance company must provide a reasonable explanation in writing for the basis of the payment, denial, or partial denial of your claim. If the claim payment is less than the repair estimate that you provided to the insurance company, guess what? The insurance company must provide a reasonable written explanation of the difference. And the insurance companies are also required to provide you with a notice of your right to request residential property mediation through the Department of Financial Services in the event you are unsatisfied with your claim payment offer. Okay, and I'll go through just a little bit very briefly about the mediation program and how that works. And so mediation is free to policyholders. You don't have to pay any cost to participate in mediation. All of the costs associated with the mediation program are paid for by your insurance company. And so mediation allows you to meet with your insurance company, mediated by a certified, neutral third party that is selected by the Department of Financial Services to assist you in resolving your claim dispute. You are not required to accept the claim offer, and the decision is not binding at all. So if you reach a settlement during mediation, you actually have 3 business days to rescind the agreement as long as you haven't cashed the check. And even if you choose to go through the mediation process in an effort to try to resolve your claim dispute, it does not prohibit you from participating in any other dispute resolutions or going to court at a later time. Okay. The claim process can be a very overwhelming experience, and there are several challenges or obstacles that consumers can face as they are attempting to navigate the claim process. And I just want to kind of talk through some of these challenges and obstacles so that hopefully, if you have to navigate the claims process, you can help to avoid some of these. One is unfamiliarity of the insurance claims process. And most consumers are simply unfamiliar with the claims process because, truthfully, they rarely file homeowners insurance claims. I like to educate consumers on the process of filing a claim and outline the expectations to ensure they know exactly what to expect, the typical time frame of when things should occur, and next steps. Being able to share that information with consumers helps to ease their concerns about an unknown process. Other challenges include non-responsiveness or lack of communication from the insurance company, the company adjuster, or other parties that may be involved in the claims process. Having multiple company adjusters that are assigned to your claim, having one adjuster this week, and the next week there's a new adjuster, and then the next week there's a new adjuster, and having to seem as if you're having to start over with explaining what has transpired to every new adjuster that's been assigned. Receiving multiple requests for the same documentation. I hear from consumers that that happens a lot, where they provided the proof of loss, they're provided the repair estimate, and they're receiving requests from different individuals throughout the insurance company for that same documentation and information, which definitely slows down and delays the claim process. Inflated estimates and insurance fraud can absolutely have an adverse impact on the claims process, and we'll go into a little more detail about that later in the presentation. Recently, we've been experiencing a lack of available contractors to complete the repairs to your home timely. And so definitely, that delays the claims process and delays your efforts in getting your home repaired as quickly as possible. And supply chain delays in terms of materials and the affordability of materials has also presented several challenges and obstacles for consumers to attempt to navigate. So for assistance with addressing any of these challenges that you may experience as you're going through the insurance claims process, or as you are communicating with your insurance company, please feel free to contact my office for assistance and advocacy. That's what we're here for, and we definitely want to be able to assist you as you navigate the claims process. Now, before we dive into our next topic, let's see who understands the difference between a company adjuster and a public adjuster.
That's a good one.
Yes, a very good one that easily is confused by most consumers. And please feel free to share your responses verbally if that's easier. No responses?
Tasha, this is Lashandra. So the difference, as I understand it, between a company adjuster would work for a insurance company. They have the interest of the insurance company, such as State Farm, Allstate. A public adjuster is an adjuster that is for hire, that's obtained by the consumer, the customer.
That's absolutely correct. Great job.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Yes, absolutely correct. I need you, I can let you take us through the next section of the paper.
You're so funny.
What's going to cost you money?
So-
What's not?
Was someone else sharing a response?
It's Richard Rudolph. I was saying one of them is going to be costing you money. The other one isn't. The public adjuster, you're going to be paying them a fee.
That is correct. You're absolutely correct. Yes. So the company adjuster works for the insurance company, is paid by the insurance company. The public adjuster works on behalf of the consumer, policyholder, homeowner, and is paid from the claim settlement amount. And so for public adjusters, the legislature allows for them to charge up to 20% for non-hurricane related claims and up to 10% for hurricane related claims. And so as a part of your planning steps, it is important to understand the different types of insurance professionals that you may encounter as you're going through the claims process. And so I'm just going to give you a brief overview of some of the individuals that may be involved in your claim. So your insurance agent, of course, is the individual that you are communicating with and coordinating with when you are purchasing an insurance policy, or you are making changes to your insurance policy, or if you need some assistance in helping to better understand your policy and the coverages and the exclusions that are contained therein. The insurance field adjuster is typically the individual that the insurance company sends out after you have filed a claim to inspect your property and to review the damage and report back to the insurance company. The insurance desk adjuster is usually the individual that receives all of the information from the field adjuster, and then that desk adjuster puts together a repair estimate and shares that information with the policyholder. The claims manager or supervisor is the individual that typically oversees the claims that are filed with the insurance company and may also have the authority to make final decisions related to those claims. A mediator is that certified neutral third party that is a part of the mediation process. And so the mediator is there to try to assist both the insurance company and the policyholder come to a reasonable, acceptable conclusion relative to the claim dispute. The appraiser is an individual that represents an insurance company, and another appraiser will represent the policyholder or the consumer as you are going through the appraiser process. And so appraisal is simply another form of alternative dispute resolutions that the insurance company or the policyholder may elect to participate in, once again, in an effort to try to resolve the claim disputes. In this particular case, the appraiser that is hired to represent the policyholder is paid for by the policyholder. The appraiser that is hired to represent the insurance company is paid for by the insurance company. Public adjuster is the individual, of course, that is hired by the policyholder or homeowner to represent their best interest and to advocate for the homeowner as the homeowner goes through the claims process and is paid for by the homeowner. An attorney, of course, is an individual that would represent the homeowner and or the insurance company's best interest as they are trying to get the claim resolved. A repair company contractor, of course, is the entity or individual who is hired to make the repairs of the damaged property. And then a water remediation company is a company that you would contract with to come in to dry out your house if it was flooded, or if there was any type of water intrusion that occurred, the water remediation company would assist in removing that excess water and drying out the property. And then, of course, they would in turn submit a invoice to the insurance company for payment associated with the claim that was filed. Okay, so in a nutshell, that kind of gives you a good overview of the insurance claim filing process and what you may expect if you have to file a claim after your home has experienced damage as a result of a hurricane. And so now we're going to switch gears just a little bit, and we're going to talk about insurance fraud and how that impacts the claims process and impacts the overall insurance industry as a whole. So here we are with our next knowledge question. Approximately how much is lost to insurance fraud annually? And now we've made it easy for you because we gave you a couple of options to choose from. So how much do you think is lost to insurance fraud annually? Any guesses? And as you can see, these are some pretty significant numbers.
$400 million.
Okay, any other guesses?
There's some more guesses in the chat.
Yes,
Okay,
we
Katiana,
have-
could you read just a couple of them?
Yes, so we have 400. Brittany says C, 309 billion. Also, someone guessed D, 240 billion.
Okay,
And
all
then
right.
Jaja guessed C, 309 billion.
Okay, well, Brittany and Jaja are absolutely correct. Great job. The correct answer is C. $309 billion is lost to insurance fraud every single year. And actually, the exact number is $308.6 billion. Can you believe that? And basically, with this significant amount of insurance fraud impacting the insurance industry as a whole, we as insurance consumers are absolutely experiencing the adverse effects of this insurance fraud. What we typically see is in the aftermath of a hurricane, unscrupulous bad actors seek out opportunities to really take advantage of and prey upon homeowners. They know that at this particular time, homeowners are very vulnerable, their home is damaged, and really they're looking for any assistance that they can find to try to get their home repaired as quickly as possible and to just get back to normal. And one of the biggest contributors to increased insurance rates is fraud. In addition to the nearly $309 billion that fraud costs annually, it is also estimated that fraud occurs in approximately 10% of all property and casualty claims. So as your insurance consumer advocate, when you look at those particular statistics, when you hear the effects of insurance fraud, not only on the insurance industry, but on individual consumers and policies and on insurance rates, it is my priority to educate consumers on how to spot fraud and protect themselves from becoming a victim. And so to address this growing issue, I actually launched a program called Demolish Contractor Fraud: Steps to Avoid Falling Victim. Another statistic that I'll share with you is in a survey that was conducted by Home Advisor, 36% of homeowners said fraud is one of their biggest concerns when hiring a contractor. And so typically in the aftermath of a hurricane, we have dishonest contractors that are canvassing neighborhoods using solicitation and marketing tactics in an attempt to really manipulate the claims process for their benefit. And they do this by enticing homeowners into signing a legal tool known as an assignment of benefits. An assignment of benefits, which is also called an AOB, is a legal contract that allows a policyholder to sign over their policy benefits and their rights to a third party. Usually it's a contractor. That third party then stands in the place of the insured and assumes the policyholder's benefits, and they're able to collect payments directly from the insurance company. And so by signing this AOB, the policyholder also transfers to this third party the right to negotiate and adjust the claim. And so once that AOB is signed, it removes the homeowner and takes the homeowner out of the claims picture. And the homeowner now is no longer in a position to be able to negotiate the claim or make any claim related decisions or even mitigate repair costs. And so it leaves the third party in full control of the claim. And so now they can inflate their repair estimates. They can charge for repairs that are not even necessary or for repairs that are unrelated to the damage caused by the hurricane. And oftentimes, these contractors partner with attorneys in order to initiate litigation without the knowledge or the authorization of the policyholder. And so because policyholders and consumers were being significantly adversely impacted by the misuse of AOBs, to protect consumers, legislators passed a law in 2019, which really outlined what must be required to be included in an AOB contract. It incorporated cancellation requirements, and it outlined specific responsibilities of the contractor and the vendor. And so, you know, one of the other challenges with the use of an AOB as it relates to authorizing the insurance company to pay the contractor directly upfront is oftentimes what we're seeing in some instances, especially in the aftermath of a hurricane, is after collecting the insurance benefits, some contractors disappear without ever doing the work. And in cases where repairs are made, the contractor sometimes does subpar work using substandard materials. And then, you know, of additional concern is that a lot of these contractors come into the state in the aftermath of a hurricane, and they're not even licensed to perform the work that they are performing. And so as a part of the insurance fraud schemes, under certain scenarios, what we're beginning to see as well are homeowners who are promised a new roof with no out-of-pocket expenses if they sign a contract with a contractor and allow the contractor to file a claim with their insurance company. So this is only happening under those circumstances where the homeowner has a homeowner's insurance policy in place so that the contractor can file that claim and collect benefits directly from the insurance company. Unbeknownst to the homeowner, sometimes a public adjuster and/or an attorney became a party to the claim as well. And what we're seeing here that's really harmful to consumers is the actions of these professionals are usually not in the best interest of the homeowner. These tactics and these schemes that are being perpetrated by professionals who use harmful contracting and unlicensed adjusting practices are really resulting in insurance companies paying higher claims to settle these frivolous claims and paying additional costs to also litigate the claims as well. And of course, anytime the insurance company pays higher costs relative to claims, they are then transferring those additional costs to all of us through increased insurance rates. CFO Petronas has really done an excellent job, over the last several years since he has been in office to try to focus on reducing insurance fraud. The Department of Financial Services Division of Investigative and Forensic Services has the responsibility of investigating insurance fraud and arresting individuals who have been alleged to have committed insurance fraud. And so in April, CFO Petronas announced 2 arrests of contractors who were working in Naples, and they were arrested for allegedly operating a solicitation scheme for free roof replacements related to damage that was supposedly caused by Hurricane Irma. And so these individuals allegedly enticed homeowners with rebates to cover their insurance deductible if they submitted an insurance claim for a roof replacement. The company salespeople also required the homeowner to sign an AOB and a quote advertising agreement, which allowed the company to place an advertising sign in their yard. And then of course, the homeowners were also required to provide positive reviews online and give neighborhood referrals. And so as a result of their arrest, these contractors are currently facing 9 counts of filing false and fraudulent insurance claims, which under the law is a 3rd-degree felony. And so if convicted on all charges, they each face a maximum sentence of up to 45 years in prison and a $45,000 fine. So as you can see, there are some significant laws that are in place to be able to help punish the individuals who commit insurance fraud and who are harming consumers and harming our insurance industry as a whole. So here are several red flags to help identify contractor fraud and protect yourself from falling victim. So if a contractor shows up unsolicited and offers payment or a gift card for a free inspection, that's a red flag. Upon completing the inspection, if the contractor explains that an area of your home is damaged, even though you didn't notice damage previously, that's a red flag. If the contractor pressures you to immediately file an insurance claim because there's a deadline approaching, that's a red flag. And if the contractor offers services at no charge or offers to waive your insurance deductible, that's also a red flag. And many of you may not be aware, but offering to waive the insurance deductible is illegal in Florida. While all of this information, that I've shared related to insurance fraud, related to the red flags is very concerning, I do want to stress though, that there are reputable, honest contractors who are not attempting to commit fraud and who recognize that contractors are essential to the repair and recovery process as it relates to helping to repair your home and getting you back into that home as quickly as possible. So that's just kind of a snippet and a brief overview of the Demolish Contractor Fraud Steps to Avoid Falling Victim program. I encourage you to review the components of that program, and the website is on your screen. And Katiana, so we have about 8 minutes left. Would you like for me to continue, or would you like for me to kind of pause there and take any questions? I know we were wanting to wrap up at 1 o'clock.
You can continue. We can go past 1 o'clock.
Okay, perfect. All right, so what I also want to share with you is some recent property insurance changes relative to solicitation, because of course, as I just shared, the bulk of the insurance fraud is really starting with a solicitation or marketing tactic. So in an effort to decrease the amount of contractor fraud, the Florida legislature took steps to really disincentivize fraudsters and clarified how contractors can solicit business. And they did this during the special legislative session that took place this past May. And so as a result of legislation that was passed, contractors are prohibited from making written or electronic communications that encourage a homeowner to contact a contractor or a public adjuster simply to make a property insurance claim for roof damage, unless the solicitation includes the following: a notice that the consumer is responsible for payment of their hurricane deductible, a notice that states it is insurance fraud, punishable as a third-degree felony for a contractor to pay or waive an insurance deductible, and a notice that states it is insurance fraud, punishable as a third-degree felony for a contractor to intentionally file an insurance claim that contains false, fraudulent, or misleading information. So all of these steps will simply strengthen the laws that we currently have, and it will make it a lot easier to be able to identify when contractors have violated the law and have committed insurance fraud. So that brings us to our next question. Are you required to sign an assignment of benefits in order to have repairs completed on your home? Are you required to sign an assignment of benefits in order to have repairs completed on your home?
Okay. Cheyenne's response is no. Elevin said no. Brittany said no.
Great job. That is the correct answer. No, no, and no. So I previously shared with you what an AOB is, and now I would like to share some additional information on the purpose and the role of AOBs in the insurance claims process. And really, an AOB can be a useful tool for both policyholders and third parties, such as contractors, of course. It can be helpful for policyholders who choose not to be involved in the insurance claims process, and they prefer that the contractor communicate directly with the insurance company and take care of everything relative to the claim. And a good example of how the use of an AOB can be helpful is with health insurance claims. So think about this. When you go to your doctor for a checkup or for a routine procedure, you pay your copay for the visit, but how does the other portion of the services get paid? Well, at some point, you signed an AOB that authorized your doctor's office to file the insurance claim on your behalf directly with your health insurance company. And so under this scenario, signing an AOB is beneficial to you as a policyholder, because we definitely don't want to have to file an insurance claim every time we visit the doctor. Can you imagine dealing with that on a regular basis? So that's just a good example of how AOBs can absolutely be beneficial to a policyholder. And so while AOBs were originally meant as a tool to assist consumers, ill-intentioned contractors have basically misused the AOBs in an effort to really try to take advantage of unsuspecting consumers. Typically, an AOB directs the insurance company to send insurance payments directly to the contractor or the vendor. Insurance companies, as we know, oftentimes issue payment in full directly to the third party upfront prior to the completion of any repairs. And so in this particular case, policyholders may not even be aware that payments have been issued. They may not even know the amount of those payments that have been issued by their insurance company. And as I shared earlier, the contractor or the vendor can take that money and never complete the work. And so there are definitely some additional red flags to look for when working with contractors and AOBs. For example, If the contractor pressures or encourages you to sign an AOB or some other type of contract, red flag. If the contractor does not allow you to review the contract or the agreement, or scrolls directly to the signature line, gives you a verbal explanation of what you're signing, and encourages you to sign on the dotted line, red flag. If the contractor does not or is unwilling to provide a copy of the contract or the agreement, red flag. Or if the contractor is unwilling to provide an itemized estimate of repairs, that's also a red flag. And so I cannot stress enough the importance of thoroughly reviewing all documents before signing. And if you have questions, ask a trusted friend, ask a family member, ask a legal advisor. And remember, if you don't feel comfortable signing a contract, don't sign it. Okay, that's the best way that you can protect yourself from these types of tactics and schemes that individuals are perpetrating. In the aftermath of a hurricane, these additional tips can also help to ensure that you don't fall victim to insurance fraud. As we've shared earlier, immediately report damage to your insurance company. Make emergency repairs to protect your property from further damage. Document those repairs with photos or video. Verify that your adjuster is licensed. Make sure that if you're hiring a contractor, make sure that you're hiring a licensed and insured contractor, because you want to make sure that you're protected as much as possible. And you want to make sure that you require the contractor to put all terms in writing and provide you with a written estimate. And then definitely be on high alert for scammers. Be very cautious of offers for assistance, especially if they demand cash up front. We see this a lot in the aftermath of hurricanes, where people are coming by and they're offering to put tarps on your roof. They're offering to remove fallen trees. They're offering a lot of different services and assistance. And scammers oftentimes frequent neighborhoods to simply solicit unsuspecting homeowners. And so you want to make sure that you don't pay in full up front, that you don't pay in cash, because as I said, many of these individuals are coming in from other states, and there's a huge risk that they may leave the area and never complete the work if you pay them up front. You also want to be aware of anyone that is requiring you to sign an assignment of benefits. As we learned earlier, an assignment of benefits is not necessary to get your home repaired. And so just be aware of anyone who is requiring you to do that. And once again, if you're not comfortable signing it, don't sign it. If you encounter suspicious activity of any kind, report it immediately. Beware of persons that may be impersonating FEMA, state, or either local representatives. It's important to remember that official personnel will usually display their identification badges, and they should provide identification without hesitation if you ask them to do so. And they should also tell you why they're in the area. They're there because they're surveying damage, or they may be providing assistance to residents, or trying to determine if anyone needs any help of any kind. And so these representatives, who are actual state, local, or federal representatives, are not going to be requesting any type of payment for services provided, and they should not be asking for any personal information, such as your social security number, your bank account information, or anything like that. Okay, and so if you need to file a complaint against a contractor, you want to contact the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. To file a complaint against an insurance professional, you want to contact the Department of Financial Services. And to file a complaint related to price gouging or some type of charitable donation scam, because those pop up also in the aftermath of hurricanes, you want to report that activity to the Attorney General's office. And then, of course, if you have a bad experience with a contractor or any of these professionals or business entities, you may also want to consider filing a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission or the Better Business Bureau as well. Okay, so I've shared a lot of information with you today, and I want you to know that my office and myself are a resource for you. We are here to assist you. We are here to answer your questions. We are here to help you navigate the claims process in the insurance industry as a whole. And I welcome you to contact us for assistance and for guidance regarding any insurance matter that you may be experiencing. And before I go, I have some additional resources that may be helpful to you as well. The Department of Financial Services, as I shared earlier, they include the Division of Investigative and Forensic Services, which of course investigates insurance fraud. The Division of Consumer Services is available to also provide insurance-related assistance to consumers. That division also has the Insurance Consumer Helpline, as well as they oversee the property mediation program as well. That division also, the Division of Insurance Agent and Agency Services, also licenses and regulates all of the insurance professionals, such as your insurance agents, adjusters, and anyone else that is involved in the insurance process. And then, of course, my office, the Office of the Insurance Consumer Advocate, is here to assist you as well. We also have the Florida Association of Insurance Agents, the Florida Association of Public Insurance Adjusters, and the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation. Okay, so with that, I thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. And
can you hear me? I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Delano Ulis, and Katiana is smiling because she knows that I'm not too good with technology. So I made it. I have a question. How often can you make a claim? How, and without getting penalized by the insurance for premium?
So that's a very good question. And I don't have a specific answer for you because it's going to, change depending upon the various insurance companies. So there are insurance companies who have recently taken steps to non-renew homeowners after they filed, 2 claims or 3 claims. And of course, that is at the discretion of the insurance company. Now, the insurance company cannot include in their count of claims that are as a result of natural disasters, such as a hurricane claim or an act of God. Those types of claims cannot be included in the count. So for example, if an insurance company has an internal policy to non-renew a policy after 3 claims have been filed, if one of those claims is a hurricane claim, the insurance company cannot include that claim in that 3 claim count.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm satisfied. Thank you. Thank you, Kat.
Good question.
Thank you, Eleanor. Anyone else? Any questions? You can turn on your microphone or your camera and ask your question right now. I see, Carter, I have a question. I wanted to know if someone files a claim, it's a legitimate claim, and the insurance company denies that claim, and they appeal the decision, and the decision is, the claim is still denied, what can they do?
So in that particular case, they may have to seek legal assistance. If they truly feel as if, the claim is a valid, legitimate claim, the damage was caused by a covered event under their policy, I would suggest that they reach out to an attorney and obtain legal assistance to be able to see if there's an opportunity to file litigation against the insurance company in order to protect their rights and ensure that the claim gets paid.
Thank you for that response.
Sure. Sure.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Don't be shy.
Well, thank you everybody for your energetic participation today and for your responses to the knowledge questions and just for your attention as well. It was my pleasure to share this information, and hopefully you'll walk away with a better understanding of how to plan, prepare, and protect your home as we continue to go through this hurricane season.
Thank you, Isaiah Carter. We know you're really busy and we appreciate your time. And thank you for the great information that you were able to provide us this afternoon.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.